donuts. I got donuts. I got...
Donut? What's a donut?
Donuts. It looks wrong, but it is so right. Oh, yeah.
All right, we're live. Woo. Hey, we're live. Not like literally we're live right now, but when you listen to it, it'll be recorded. But you know what I mean. Welcome to episode 2 of Duff and Donuts. I am your host. Some people have self-proclaimed me as the Joe Rogan of this nerd stuff.
I don't believe they have.
I don't believe they have either, but they will after this.
I believe that's a self-proclamation.
A self-proclamation it is, but I am Kien, not Keith, and I am here again with my lovely, beautiful partner in crime, / Simpson watching buddy, / wife, B. So, we just got done watching episode 2 of The Simpsons season 1. Sorry, episode 2, season 1. She looked at me funny, so I wanted to make sure that I was getting it right. Episode 2, season 1. Bart the Genius. And man, do I have to say, this was a fun episode.
It really was. The animation was noticeably more choppy. And
it's very bad.
It was very, especially in comparison to episode 1 even.
Very much so. I feel... Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
I feel episode 1, because it was a Christmas special, technically, at the same time it was a season premiere. I think
they put a little more into it.
They put a little more effort to it, because, that could be played every holiday.
That's true.
Where this was before it would ever get syndicated, or they knew they would ever be syndicated. Because I think it's if I remember correctly, it's once 100 episode hits, you can reach syndication, where you can continuously, show reruns.
Right.
So, yeah, that was not, I mean, the opening was really good.
The opening was really fun. This was their first time that they did it.
Yeah.
And it's different than the one that we've come to know. Not only the color scheme being different, like the school being purple and everything, but the background of Springfield is very, it's kind of like filler scenery. It's not really like the town that we have come to know.
Right. So, the one thing that, I really want to get into with this is that, the school is a different color, first of all. Springfield Elementary, the color that we know, at least that I know, but apparently my wife knew, it's blue instead of yellow? Yellowish orange? It's usually yellowish orange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's usually a yellow orange.
Yeah,
color.
so it's blue.
It's purple more.
Purple?
More purple, actually.
Okay, it's more purple.
In this episode.
Miscolor coordinated over here. But the first thing, the first chalk writing gag too, which is I will not waste chalk, which is kind of the irony. I like that. I like how the first couch gag is a little bit of irony. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's
definitely.
I will not waste chalk, but here he is writing continuously on that chalkboard, wasting said chalk. Were whiteboards a thing during the 90s, or was that early 2000s?
I remember having a whiteboard in my first grade class, and I was actually really surprised we had one, and it was new. They replaced the chalkboard that year with the whiteboard, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Alrighty, because I don't think I can ever remember having a chalkboard.
I think it also had to do with school funding and what state you grew up in,
right.
etc.
I feel like my church had a chalkboard still.
Right.
But I feel like we were all whiteboard when I was going to.
I was kind of on
the
the
elementary school.
Right, and now it's smart boards.
Yeah.
The schools that have proper funding get smart boards.
Dog, why don't they do I like how they keep the chalkboard in The Simpsons, but they made the TV a flat screen. Why can't they have a smart
But they kept the bunny ears,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
it's just it wouldn't be the TV without the bunny
right.
ears. Anyway, we're getting a little off track
but
here.
So another thing is like I was pointing out to her is that Homer obviously, they do every typical thing that you will see in season 2 going on. Is Homer getting off work, but the background is a little bit different. I think the only one that stayed consistent was Marge's.
Yeah, Marge and Maggie in the
Maggie's,
store there.
and Lisa's is the only one that stayed consistent.
They did a little extra with Lisa though. They showed her a little bit longer on her bike, and you could see her stack of books on it, and her it's supposed to be a saxophone case, but to me it resembled more of a guitar case.
Yeah, I was it looked more like a guitar case. I think the one thing that was interesting to me, though, is that because Mo was not a predominant character, because Barney, Bumblebee Man, comic book guy, these guys don't technically exist yet into this world.
Right.
I mean, like, Mo exists, but, like, he was only in that one scene.
Right.
They
We'll
have
see
all
more
these,
later, but...
Right, they always have these, like, they just have these randos.
Yeah, when Bart's skating across on the sidewalk, you know, we know him going past some familiar faces. This time, it's literally a bunch of random characters, and the gag here is they're all waiting at a bus stop, and he steals the bus stop sign as he skates away, and then you see the bus drive right by the bus stop, and the people go running after it.
I think that, like, that also I really like, because it shows, like, you know, Bart as this, like, this hoodlum.
Yeah, he's a little hellraiser.
He's
from
like
the
a
start.
nefarious young man. But then we go to, again, a scene that doesn't really change throughout the years, the Marge and Maggie driving home scene.
Right.
The only thing is it instead of transitioning to Homer heading to the garage, it transitions to Lisa riding her bike. So, like, I mean, it's different because, like, honestly, Brittany knew this right away that this was, like, there. I didn't. I always just assumed that was the intro and they just never changed it.
No, I mean, they've tweaked it over the years.
Well, yeah,
a couple
like,
different
now
times.
Sideshow Bob is, like, trying to stab Bart. Like, yeah, I get, like, the tweaking, but this is like, oh, gee.
Right.
Like, I knew Bart was a genius as the episode. I guess I never thought about, like, the intro, I guess, which is weird because, like, I like watching a lot of anime and I can, like, tell you what all the intros look like for Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super and stuff like that, but, like, I can't tell you dick about the Simpsons intro. Like, I'm just like, yeah, apparently that happened. Like, she was pointing out, like, later on, apparently Milhouse's instrument changes. I'm like, what? Like, I thought he just, like, played...
Like, right, they actually, in a recent episode, did a throwback to that, where the band teacher, Mr. Largo, is like, Milhouse, what the heck are you playing? And Milhouse, like, looks at his instrument, and he's like, no one knows. And and the teacher just tells him, well, wear it on your head like a hat. And it's just kind of like a throwback to that, like, it doesn't look like a real instrument, obviously. Like, Lisa is obviously playing a saxophone.
Right.
What was Milhouse holding? Some kind of a horn of some sort.
Yeah, and so is it the horn all the time, or is it just...
Yeah, I believe it is, yeah. This is actually something I'm not quite sure of. I don't know when they changed it to look better, but in this one it was definitely very crudely drawn. And then we get our first couch gag in this one as well. It was just a short, simple one. They're all squeezing on the couch, and Bart is on the end, and he gets squished off and launched into the air.
Yeah.
Then they do a close-up of the Simpsons TV, you know, with the names on it, and then he falls in front of it on the floor. So that was the first ever couch gag that we got.
Out of, like, technical, like, couch gagness, I feel like that's very technical, because, like, most of the other couch gags don't go past the credits. You know what I mean?
Usually not, yeah.
So, like, that one was interesting to me because, like, all the couch gags I remember usually just end, like, fun couch gag and...
Right, and then they show the TV and then it goes right into the episode, yeah. This one was kind of cute starting off. We noticed that they were having a family game night. They were playing Scrabble. One cute thing that Keith noticed was that Maggie was playing with blocks on the floor, and she stacked them in a way that said E equals MC square. I thought that was
like
fun.
E, MC, and then SQD. So I was like, that's really funny.
Yeah, that was a really...
This is like a big, like, yo, this is a genius episode kind of thing.
Well, and not only that, but it also kind of, like, foreshadows Maggie being smart, because in later episodes they do play on that, you know, she, similar to Lisa, is gifted in certain ways.
But I think she's smarter than Lisa.
I think so, too, especially because, you know, she's a baby. Right. So, you know, and they show us some of Lisa's intelligence again. You know, she plays the word ID on the board for Scrabble, and she was able to define it But then Bart tries to get away with putting the word Quidgibo on the board. And, of course, Homer's like, well, what does that mean? And he tells him it's a big, dumb, balding North American ape.
With no chin. and adds with a temper.
Marge adds.
And a short temper.
Yeah, short temper, yeah. So that was kind of funny. It was like back in the day when people actually sat down and played games with their family,
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. That's, again, this is again, me being, I'm hidden, probably by the end of, season 3, I'll head on the dead horse. This is literally the Family Matters.
Definitely.
This is the anti-Leave It to Beaver, you've got, it's fun, because, usually, when you see scenes like this, again, go back to 90s television, guys, just watch it, it's way different from our television, because, they were, playing games and, oh, Dad, you're so funny and stuff like that.
Right.
This is, making fun of that.
We're getting a taste of the dysfunction, too, because, they're arguing with each other.
Exactly.
They're not just having fun, they're arguing.
They're not like, hey, that's wrong. Oh, you caught me, Janice.
Right. And then another old school throwback, the next scene we see the kids heading into the schoolyard, and the games that the people are playing, they're playing jump rope and marbles and things like that, which I thought was really a throwback as well. Then Bart decides to get into some trouble here with his spray paint. He makes a nice little drawing of Skinner on the wall, and it says, "I am a wiener."
And this is where I kick in with my knowledge. I may not know Simpsons very well as the cartoon, but I messes with them Simpsons memes all the time.
He recognized it right away.
I recognized it right away because we're talking, okay, if you guys are wondering, Google Skinner pathetic meme, and you know what I mean. It apparently comes from season 1, and the reason I knew this is because Skinner's suit is different, and I knew that right away.
Right.
I saw that scene, I almost freeze framed it just to make sure, and I had to Google it. I had to go in depth to make sure I was right because I don't want to ruin my knowledge of memes, I guess.
And he's like, nowhere does he say pathetic.
I was like, yeah, he doesn't say pathetic, but the meme says pathetic. I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be coincided to a phrase from The Simpsons. It's just the face. So
it's just his face. He looks disappointed.
I know.
He's just kind of shame on you.
That's so lame though. I thought Skinner would be I thought Skinner was saying pathetic to Willie or
talking down on someone.
Yeah, but no, it's nothing. It's just being pathetic.
And we see a couple characters here that, are watching Bart get in trouble too. Milhouse is one of them, which, he has kind of bluish blackish hair this time.
It's very dark.
It's very dark. It's not like the hair we know. And of course,
that might also be because, again, this is such an old cartoon that
the color schemes changed everywhere. Yeah, this whole episode, the color schemes are off.
Yeah, the gradients is weird because we'll get on later on with Bart's shirt later on, but I feel this is kind of, I like Martin. He's a nerd, 100%, and that's the term I use to as a derogatory nowadays.
He's a nerd.
But he's well, in some places, this is right, but it's he's following I before E, so I gotta give him that.
Right, yeah, he gets technical with the spelling of wiener.
Yeah.
But, yeah, see, in this episode, we're seeing kind of a Bart and Martin rivalry to a certain degree. They've butted heads before, obviously, and had some interactions, but this time Martin seems a little more childish with it. He's tattletelling on Bart. Oh, shouldn't he turn his desk around so he doesn't cheat on people's papers? Sticking his tongue out at him and things. It's a little more playful, a little more childish, kind of like Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
She's still kind of playful smart, but still a kid,
right. And I think this is really funny. Like I said, it's the first time Bart says "eat my shorts."
It's
to Martin.
Yeah, and definitely that's a iconic phrase that you hear.
Right. So, like, Bart takes the test, and this is a sequence that, like, again, I forgot existed until rewatching the episode.
That he takes it.
Is the train sequence.
Oh, yeah, the train.
I thought it was in a much later episode.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Man, listen, I don't know shit about The Simpsons, apparently. Like, I thought I, like, had a gradual knowledge of The Simpsons, and then someone's like, it's been 30 years.
I mean, I'll admit, I do not know season 1 as well as I do, like, season 6.
Homegirl, again, I want to put out, Simpsons has been out for 30 years.
Right.
I'm 25.
Right, I get you. Yeah, they do, what he's referring to is they do the test, they call it an aptitude test, but, they had, like, a math problem, one of those generic, if a train leaves the station at this time, blah, 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 kind of questions, and Bart tries to picture it in his head, and they do a kind of cool little animation thing with that.
I'm pretty sure they do something else like this in another episode.
I'm sure they do, yeah, several times, in
100%
fact,
sure.
so.
Like, it might be this episode, but it's so... I really enjoy it, sorry, I'm just...
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm reveling in that. That was the only good, like, looking animation in this...
They put a little more effort into it, I thought.
They did, and, like, it's probably a dumb thing to pick up on, but I'm like, I think it looks really cool.
But then again, it wasn't very colorful either, so I think that kind of, like, helped a little.
much more chance to do details and stuff like that with, black and white.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, long story short, Martin finishes his test first, of course, really early, like as you see in later episodes. And then he goes outside to read under a tree. And so Bart grabs Martin's test, and of course he switches their names on it, which is, of course, going to give him a way higher score. He gets called into the principal's office, and his parents get called in to discuss the whole spray painting matter.
My favorite thing about this is just, like, Principal Skinner talking about, like, Bart's forgery notes.
I love that. He's like,
them.
They're clearly childhood forgeries. And then he sees that Homer does indeed write like that.
Right, like a child. Yeah, no, that's so funny. Like, that is, again, like, just low-key things that, like, make me laugh. And I'm just like, why am I laughing like an idiot right now?
I love that old school humor. I honestly wish they'd kind of go back to that. You know what I mean?
I like the way it's a hard chip at you. It's not, it's just a quick joke. And then it's like, again, like, I mean... Again, I'm going to reference Super iPad. The closest thing to, like, being a Simpsons professional I am is I watched a 25-minute Super iPatch video about it. This is a show that can't have a laugh track the first couple of seasons. Nowadays, most 100%. Like, we were rewatching some, like, modern Simpsons because we have Hulu. Our sponsor. I'm kidding, not our sponsor. But, and it's just, like, the jokes are not as, like, hard-hitting and, like, just... quick hit you and you giggle. They're kind of just...
They have their moments.
Yeah.
They sometimes can, kind of reach back into that old comedy, but...
But this is so spot on to me.
This is definitely different.
This humor to me is just funny. Just straight up funny. Then, he's a principal of the other school, right? Mr.
He's I believe he's a counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, and he comes in and he says, hey, look at this test score. Bart is a certified genius. His IQ is 216. So of course he comes up with the idea to send Bart.
Psychiatrist.
Oh, child psychiatrist.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, that's like a counselor.
Yeah, but he's a school counselor, but he's like a child psychiatrist though. Yeah, go on.
No, it's all good. So yeah, he comes up with this idea to give Bart a chance to be in a gifted school rather than just a public school, and of course Principal Skinner's very happy about that. So we actually over the next 10 minutes we see a lot of Bart and Homer interaction. Homer's obviously very proud to learn that Bart's a genius. We see. This part hit me when Homer takes him to school and he sees everyone else is wearing ties and Homer's like, you can have my tie, and then he gave him a kiss and he's like, it's okay if fathers kiss their sons, I think. I just thought it was kind of like a sweet, innocent, awkward moment between them.
I never had that relationship with my dad. I'm kidding. That was terrible.
Your dad is the nicest guy.
My dad is a very nice guy. My dad doesn't listen to this, but if he did, he'd be like, "Oh, son, I'm sorry."
Right.
He'd like call me and apologize if he heard that. I'd be like, "I'm sorry."
He'd be like, "I'm sorry to give you a tie.
Give you this tie and childhood kiss that you wanted."
Right.
No, but the thing that got me, like, you got the I'm a terrible person. You got the sentimental.
I
shit out of it.
did.
I got he has a clip-on tie, and like.
It's sweet.
He's like, I'll teach you how to put this tie. Let me teach you how to put a tie on.
Does Homer seem like the kind of guy who knows how to tie a tie?
100%. But that was the thing that I laughed really hard in that while you were like going, oh, I was laughing because it's like, yeah, of course he would have a
It kind of reminds
tie.
me of like my parenting style. Like, hey kid, I can teach you how to cook spaghetti. You know,
or
like
the bowl
cereal, toast. Yeah, like it's kind of like
toast, kid. Of
like
course.
it is sweet.
Do you
I'm
want
trying my
peanut butter
best.
maybe on your toast.
You know, I just appreciate Homer's. I appreciated that moment. You know, that he was like, "Hey son, I got your back. Here's this
Guess
tie."
who's in the kitchen? It's Kien.
Anyways, moving along, his first day, of course, doesn't go quite as well as, you know, what he had hoped.
I think he knew though.
But he knew, yeah.
Deep down inside, he knew he was in way too deep.
Mm-hmm. But at that point, how do you turn around?
His first thing came around. He looked at those ties. He's like, man, I am
nervous.
And
then of course he meets the kids and they're all talking in like palindromes.
Oh,
and,
they're super geniuses.
Yeah, and the teacher's just, you know, she's nice. I like the teacher, but
I kind of feel like they're lucky they'd be in that school.
Oh
in
yeah,
the 90s,
go take a nap if you want to.
Getting their asses kicked in real life school.
Mm-hmm. But it does raise the question for me, just off topic here a little bit, that they don't send Lisa to a gifted school ever, or Martin, or like they don't revisit that a smart kid gets to go to this genius school.
But they kind of revisited when Lisa moved to 4th grade.
Right, but that was still just in elementary, like still in
not 4th grade,
Springfield.
3rd grade. Just kidding.
Right, in Springfield Elementary though.
Right.
So, but anyways, back to it.
Yeah, no.
He has sort of a win.
Yeah.
With the paradox.
Yeah, damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. I think my favorite scene though is Bart's looking at the gerbil or whatever.
Oh, the
hamster.
hamsters.
It's like,
yeah.
oh, what are their names? Hamster 1 and Hamster 2. This one has a terrible disease. And it's just like, we're going to dissect him later. And Bart's like, what?
Well, they injected the first one with the disease is what I gathered from it. And then, what did they call it? The, oh shoot, I lost the word, but the something hamster.
Yeah.
And,
the control hamster.
Control hamster, yeah. And so he's like excited. He's like, oh, hi, control hamster. And they're like, oh, no, we're going to dissect him. So that's kind of sad. I don't.
So, like, yeah, like, I 100% think this is fun. This was probably one of the lesser moments to me, I guess, is like when they're at the opera. They go to the opera afterwards. Like, they talk, you know, after Bart's first day, Homer suggests, like, we should go get milkshakes, and Bart agrees, and then Marge is like, we need to, like, take Bart and, like, nurture his mind.
Right, because she felt guilty for not, you know, recognizing it.
Right. Which
is ironic because she's standing right next to Lisa, who, again, is going unrecognized.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they go to the opera, and of course Bart and Homer are pretty obnoxious. Lisa doesn't do much besides like laugh at their behavior, but of course Homer and Bart have jokes about it. At one point they even like make the fart sounds with their armpits, you know, which is obviously
in
very
their mouth, yeah,
very very obnoxious behavior at an opera. Marge obviously isn't very happy about that.
Which, you know, all moms aren't. They're never really happy when their kids do that 100%. Like, I get it. I was obnoxious too, and my mom was, like, super mad. Like, I think that's, again, the thing where, like, I think I can relate a lot more to these episodes of The Simpsons than I can when they go to, like, Australia and stuff like that.
Right, these are more realistic episodes.
They're more, like,
I mean,
these first couple of seasons are more like they hit you.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
right where you need it.
it's kind of unrealistic because, I mean, you're not just going to, like, cheat on a test and get put in a gifted school, but, like, more realistic plot line, I guess. Like, you know, mom drags you to the opera, you act obnoxious, you know, she gets mad about it. Like,
right.
that's realistic.
100%. See, so that's where, like, I stand. It's just that, like, these are just they're very nice episodes. They're very just, they feel genuine.
Right.
Like, I feel like this is one of the most genuine thing. Oh, I do have trivia. Bitch. Sorry. Yeah, so, like, I think that's the thing, again, the heart of this is that, like, Homer actually believes in Bart. Like, that is, like, one of the best moments. And then to, like, have it shattered at the very end.
Right.
Was also very funny.
Well, we see them play catch together. You know, and Bart actually thought about telling him, and then he decided against it because, you know,
how proud he was.
Yeah, but he kind of gets to this turning point when he literally has no choice because he's playing in the chemistry lab at school, and he accidentally makes an explosion and covers everything, including himself, in this goop.
Yeah, this green.
You know, he
that,
turns
like, dyes
green.
their skin, yeah.
Right. So at that point, you know, the counselor or psychiatrist pulls him in and says, you know, hey, are you bored? Do you need a smarter class? And Bart kind of proposes this idea of, oh, how can I get back to, you know, my regular school, by saying he wants to go undercover pretending to be a dumb kid. Mm-hmm. So he's told to write a proposal. And obviously if you're a dumb kid, writing a proposal is not very easy.
No, he spelled confession wrong.
Right. He starts his proposal, then he changes it to my confession, just to, hey, I'm a dumb kid. And then it's ironic, like you pointed out, he spelled confession wrong, so that's another one of those, like, kind of clean jokes. Like, it's funny.
Right.
But then at the end, you know, obviously after confessing to the counselor and the principal, he has to tell Homer, which he
breaks
does.
His heart.
Which he does outside when Homer's, you know, helping him clean off the goop from his skin and everything. And
fun fact, I think that's how my mom felt when I said I didn't want to do sports.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's how my dad felt after I got, like, done playing, like, one game of baseball. He's like, how do you like it, son? And, like, at first I lied to him.
Oh,
and
no.
then I finally was just like, Dad, I hate it.
I hate it. Well, yeah, I mean, you can't make your kids.
No,
you know, you can't
and
force
he
them,
was like,
you
he was
know.
heartbroken. He didn't run at me while I was naked
Right,
or anything like that.
right, like Homer
But, like, that
does.
was that same Homer moment where he's just like, oh, you really did good. I'm like, Dad, I hate it.
Right.
He's like, oh, I guess.
I mean, of course Homer's mad when he finds out, like, you know, Bart lied to him, and Bart tries to, you know, be compassionate and play on his emotions, like, oh, we've had so much fun together these last couple weeks, you know, and again, we do not see the strangling. He did not strangle Bart.
No, we did not.
But he
You
did
are
lunge
very
at him.
correct. Yeah, you are very correct. There is no strangling yet. I feel like I'm being lied to with the Simpsons episodes, and I expect at least one strangling an episode. So get on your game, Matt Groening.
Right.
And the writers. And we're going to go into the animation now, because that's my thing. So, one thing I noticed personally is discoloration in some fruits in the beginning. There was a brown banana.
Well, I mean, that could...
Homer had a brown banana. I'm going to explain to you why, because I've got the trivia sheet on here. It's my favorite part. I can look up dumb trivia, and I can explain it to my wife. So, there's a few problems with the finished animation from the episode. The banana in the opening scene was colored incorrectly, like I pointed out, because the Korean animators did not know what a banana was at that time.
Oh, sure.
That is very different.
That's interesting.
And it was very problematic because, again, the reason also why this apparently episode was bad is it was a very problematic episode. But the last scenes were really hard to lip sync.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, what we got for, like, because I noticed a little bit because it started to twitch out a little. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is it our TV? Did I mess something up with YouTube? And apparently, no, this is, like, how it aired. Like, it aired bad.
Oh, really? really?
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was RTV2 or just that we got a weird copy of it or something. So the glitching out, the actual like flashes and stuff like that, that was the way it was animated? That's how it aired?
Yep.
Wow. Look at you teaching me stuff.
So, what is usually scanned when Maggie is being scanned again?
It is the cost to raise a child for a year in the USA at the time. I forget what the exact number is, but that's usually what the... Are you
ready for mine to be blown?
I am. I'm ready.
$847.63 to raise a kid at that time.
For a year?
Yeah, for a year.
That's it?
Yeah.
I want to go back in time.
I kind of want to like look about that, like how much of that is inflation now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because like that's like lower than people's rent now, like per month. Like,
I don't know if you know who this artist is, but I know who it is. The design for Bart's visualization of the math problem was partially inspired by the art of Saul Steinberg. The increasing appearance of numbers in that sequence derived from Silverman's use of similar tactics, which he used to develop a set design for the play, The Adding the Machine. Such successive scenes in the sequence was shorter than the one before, but it exactly one frame. So, yeah.
I didn't catch that.
So it's from an art. It's based off of Saul Steinberg's artwork design.
Okay.
Of like multiple numbers and stuff like that.
That's neat.
And the concept of the episode was developed from writer John Vitti, coming up with the long list of bad things Bart would do for attention, imagining the potential sequence. The only idea that developed into an interesting episode concept, I can't read, was Bart cheating on an IQ test. The idea was based on an incident from Vitti's childhood when a number of his classmates did not take an intelligence test seriously and suffered poor academics. Treatment because of it. Because Bart was already obviously unintelligent, Vitti reversed the problem for his episode. Vitti used all his memories of elementary school behavior to produce a draft script of 71 pages, subsequently the required length of about 45 pages. So they doubled it.
Wow.
That's insane when you think about it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm like thinking about this as like a person who at one time did write for small television-esque things. Is that like a page is like a 1 page of a script is like a page a minute. That's like what you're taught during screenwriting class. Is 1 page is a page a minute, unless it's like an action sequence.
Right.
Then it can be multiple minutes. But
right.
like a page of dialogue is for 1 minute. Each page.
That's interesting.
Is a minute worth of dialogue. So that's 71. So like that probably includes all of the like. This is gonna be me bringing up like why the Simpsons scripts were probably longer than normal TV scripts, normal animation scripts in general, because they really pay attention to the detail. It's kind of like Alan Moore's Watchmen. I know this is like, you came here for the Simpsons, Kien's talking about a comic book. But like, those things were only like 30 pages long, but he had 70 pages of notes. Like,
right.
That's probably the same thing going on here, is that like they wanted a distinct feeling, so they wanted to make sure each piece worked out. Because like if you look at it, each piece works out. Like when Bart blows up the school, you notice that like the lab set that he had is broken. It's not fully broken until that one glass piece finally falls off and everything breaks.
Right.
So like that wasn't like, that had to be in the script. That wasn't like, no animator, especially like at that time in Korea, because it was being animated in Korea, would be like, oh, this would be really funny for Americans to watch.
Right.
So like thinking about that is just insane to me. Like overall, like the world gave it 7.8 when it came out. What do you grade this?
Oh, I mean, I'm going by all the seasons, really.
Are you more partial to this?
I'm more partial to like I mentioned earlier. I'm more partial to like season 6. Those were, I believe I had them on DVD, like 4, 5, 6, and 7 when I was younger, and so like those are the ones that I like rewatched. I can't quote these first ones as well as I can those. Overall, though, I would say probably on par with that, like a 7.7 or an 8. I like the feeling of it. I like the genuine, feelings that Bart has. Like, it really humanizes him. He's not just a little hellraiser, you know, he has thoughts and feelings, and I like seeing that part of him. Now it's just kind of like cheap gags that he does, you know. With,
Don't have a cow, man.
Yeah, well, no, that one's, he hasn't said that one in a while.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
man. I don't pay attention to The Simpsons.
Well, in season 6, even Marge was like, "Oh,
The
he hasn't said that in like 4
Simpsons?
years. Let Lisa have it," you know, like. But no, I mean now, newer episodes, he does pranks, you know, he does stupid, destructive stuff, but he doesn't seem to have a conscience really about it. And if he does,
he's kind of a sociopath now.
well, if he does, it has to be something like really, you know,
bad.
something really bad to like hit him.
Well, either way, he's not really that destructive either. He's the one who does the most outlandish stuff nowadays. Like, he just got done playing an e-sport in Korea in the last one we watched that was new.
Right. That I feel like they're trying way too hard.
They're trying
to,
way
like,
to hit
modernize
it's modernization,
it, yeah.
100%.
But when you think about it, it makes sense that they're trying to appeal to the modern day, because these episodes we're seeing were quote unquote modern at the time.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Just with the twist of being a dysfunctional family.
Right.
You know, it was still like, you know, like I mentioned, the board games, you know, the games the kids were playing outside, like, everyone played Jackson, everyone played hopscotch and jump rope and stuff like that now, so everyone's playing video games now, so I guess it makes sense to reference it at least, you know. Right. I mean, they actually started referencing video games when he wanted that Bone Storm.
Bones, yeah, the Mortal Kombat game at the time.
So, you know, they've been changing with the times for a while,
right,
I guess.
Of course. I mean, that's the way of the game.
It does kind of lose appeal,
Technically speaking,
though,
they show video
degree.
game references in this season with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Right.
We'll get into that later, but I know that because Mike Punch-Out was my bam back in the day. But, like, okay, so I am going to give this... The animation really messed with my eyes.
It was kind of choppy,
and it was a little bit jarring,
right?
But I'm gonna go with most rating here, 7.8. Like, yeah. I feel like it wasn't as good as episode 1, but technically, this was the first episode of The Simpsons, and they count that Christmas special as a Christmas special.
I guess.
Also, that is also why Santa's Little Helper is not in this one.
I mean, they don't show the pets in every episode.
Canonically.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm reading the trivia, Brittany.
Well, I don't know what to
IMDb doesn't lie.
Do you have an opinion of your own?
Do I have an opinion of of 7.8?
Yeah.
I mean, again, my thing is the animation is just jarring to me.
Right, it is.
Again, this is me coming from that kind of background. Like, 100%, I think this writing is solid. If I could give the writing a separate grade, that's a 10.
Right.
That
just the
writing
animation
is a
kind of
10.
ruined it a little for you.
Yeah, the animation kind of got me. Like, I'm just like, not my thing.
I mean, it'll get progressively better, obviously, as we go.
Also, I'm a little irked that he doesn't say pathetic in that meme.
I'm sorry.
So
I did not mean to disappoint you.
That also, you didn't disappoint me.
You looked at me so hopeful.
Like,
did he say pathetic?
And I was like, no. Did I just not hear it? Yeah, 100%. Like, the Skinner meme hurts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 7.8. All because of that Skinner meme.
Okay. And the animation.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we will be back next week. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And again, give us some feedback. I know you guys have been listening, so that's really cool. You can find this if you're listening to it. We are on YouTube, so if you're listening to it YouTube, thank you. We're on Spotify. We are also on iTunes, Apple Pod, and Podbean. And I will be posting this on my Instagram story and Facebook. So check that out. If this does catch steam, we might actually make our own Instagram and Facebook page. I'm not 100% sure. Who knows?
You're definitely in charge of all that.
I'm definitely in charge of all this because my mass media. Because I'm going to be... so this has been, once again, Duff and Donuts. I am the self-proclaimed Joe Rogan of this stuff.
Please don't let that catch on.
Please let it catch on.
Please don't.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a great day.